Okay, you watch this to the very end. I'm going to guarantee you, and you tell me if I'm call BS on me if it's not true. You're going to think with a higher musical IQ than 99% of every guitar on planet Earth, okay? So follow me through this. Here we go. Look at this chart. It's linked below, grab it. It's one chart. It's got a lot of triads that are all overlapping. It's a hot mess. We're going to decode it. We're going to think deeper. You will love this. Grab the chart, linked below in the description. It's in my Dropbox folder. Okay, so what this is every triad in G major. It lives right here between all the way up to the 5th fret. This is what I mean about going deeper. I'm not going to jump all over. I'm not going to take everything I've collected and try and use it. I'm going to connect everything deeper. So let me just kind of show you, then we'll decode this chart. So the 1 chord is always going to be in green. That's why you see GBD in green. That's the 1 chord. So watch. The 1 chord, then we have the 2 chord, then we have the 3 chord, we have the 4 chord, we have the 5 chord, we have the 6 chord, and then we have the diminished triad, okay? We're not going to hit on the diminished too much, but I just want you to know it's there. Okay. So this is an absolute must-know. Triads, triads, triads. You have to know them. There's no, should I learn triads? Why do I need triads? No, that's a fundamental you have to know. Plus, it makes playing more fun than anything on planet Earth. It just does. You will come back here if you don't know them now. You will thank me profusely. Be like, you were so right. So just trust me on this, all right? Years of experience. I got this. I got you. Okay. So let's break this down. Let's decode it. And then I'll give you some real world examples of how to use this musically. But before we dive into decoding down this one chart, you gotta know there's 4 string sets, okay? String sets are just how we organize things. That's how people think deeper. That's how your musical IQ skyrockets. We have an EAD string set. We use the open strings as a reference point. EAD string set. Then we have an ADG string set. We have a DGB string set. And they have a GB and then the high E string set. It's 4 string sets. So watch, here's what I mean. Let's get going on this. Right here you have GBD, okay? Now if I were to ask you, what string set am I on? I'm playing a 1, 3, 5. This is the 1 chord. It's in green because that's our tonal center. One more thing, you always gotta know, where's home? Regardless of what you're playing, what key you're in, where are you going? Where do you need to go home? Where's home base? So here it is, 1 chord. We're on the DGB string set, by the way. See that? DGB string set. The notes GBD, I know it's a brain twister. Okay, 1 chord. Now, another thing you have to know in music, this is a must know too. I'm sorry, you have to know this. You don't have to know a ton of theory, even though I preach a ton of theory. You gotta know how every accord is built from the diatonic major scale. The major scale is the blueprint for everything. So the 2 chord in G is A minor. So if you look right here, I can just drop my 3rd finger on the 5th fret on the GB high E string set, and I've got the note C, E, A. That's an A minor triad. Now it's what we call an inversion, which we're not going to go into, but it is an A minor. So 1 chord to the 2 chord, 1 chord to the 2 chord, back, home. And you got to listen too. Train those ears. Like, you got to do that ear training. Like, see how it resolves, okay? Now, what's the 3 chord in the key of G major? It's B minor, G, A, B minor. So here's your B minor triad, another inversion, okay? So 1 chord, 3 chord, 1 chord to the 3 chord. I love that little arpeggiated thing. 1 chord to the 3 chord, back to the 1. And then you're like, well, what's the 4 chord in G major? This way, it's C, okay? You just gotta memorize this stuff. G, C, G, C, G, okay? You can arpeggiate it, you can strum it harmonically, whatever fits your fancy, okay? Does that make sense? Now, what's the 5 chord in G major? Let's see, G, A, B, C, D. Now, a lot of you are gonna do this. Get yourself a circle of fifths that'll solve all your problems. Here, look at this. I gave you a harder shape. This one's tough. It's on the what string set? It's on the A, D, G string set. It is a D major triad, D, F sharp, A. 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5. And expect to botch that shape like a bazillion times before you get it cleanly, and you'll still botch it even when you got it pretty good. It's just a tough shape, but if you keep that rhythm going, there are no mistakes in music. None, okay? Rhythm is king for now and forever. So what is the 6th chord in the key of G major? Well, that's E minor. It's a relative minor. There's that shape. This is another inversion because I'm going B, E, G, okay? Now you need to learn, you got to put in the legwork. You should right now be able to tell anyone. If I asked you what 3 notes make up an E minor triad, you should be able to say E, G, B. And in this case, we're playing them in a different order. That's why it's inversion. We're playing B, E, G, but we have all three of the notes we need to build. So 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1. Okay? And then if you want to try and nail, this is a really tough shape. That diminished triad is there. You got F sharp, A, C. Home. You can even hear how it resolves beautifully from that, because that's the 7. It's a half step from the 7 to the 1. Okay, now before we finish this video, to bookend it, drop in the comments right now. Were you aware of that? Were you aware that you could build every single diatonic triad in any key? Now we're in the key of G, but if you should be thinking to yourself, well, wow, if he did that, couldn't I move those shapes to anywhere on the neck and play in a different key? Yeah, you could. Like you could move it to C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 6, back to 1. When you hit a shank, you just call jazz. But you see that? See how beautiful and amazing that is, how that works? So let's do this. I want you to try this. I want you to just move through all the diatonic triads by themselves and go really slow. Just do downstrokes, mute it with your palm, tighten it up, clean rhythms. 1, real slow, to the 2, okay, to the 3, to the 4, okay, to the 5, okay, to the 6, back to the 1. Now, I'm gonna tell you that 5 chord, that shape right there is gonna get you every time. And then like sometimes so just again, you're gonna build this muscle awareness that's gonna help you tremendously, because all these shapes, they move to different keys and they're all over the neck. But again, we're going deeper by confining ourselves to this part of the neck. That's how the best players think. That's how the smarter players think about the fretboard. Okay, one more cherry on top. This is a lot of fun. This is gonna be great for a rhythmic part, because I would not be doing my job if I didn't give you a little challenge on the rhythmic front. You got to internalize rhythm. So let's do, to finish this, the corresponding open chord, okay, to the triad. So for example, we'll go really slow. So we're going to do G open chord to the G triad, okay? Maybe you just go like this, G to the G, G to the G, okay? Now A minor to the A minor bar, the triad, like A minor to A minor, A minor to A minor, right? And then B minor to B minor. That one's kind of easy because you're already on this B minor bar chord. And then you just got to lift up and play the triad, like B minor to the B minor, B minor to the B. Just even thinking that, even seeing that and thinking that thought is thinking like a lot of people will never think, ever. And it makes me sad. I'm going to cry a little bit later after this video. Okay, and then the 4 chord, right? So we did 1, we did 2, we did 3. 4 chord is C, so C open to C triad, C to C triad. And then the 5 chord, D, right, to D triad, D to D triad. And then E minor to E minor triad. Back to the 1. So you see how much you can do with this. Okay. So at the very least, I need you to get from this video that, okay, there are these triad shapes. You can move them to any key. They're organized by string sets. They're very powerful because you can start creating solos and melodies off the triad shapes. That's really where you should start learning to solo over chord progressions too. But I think we've said enough on here. So I want you to grab the chart. It's one chart. The reason I didn't separate this into 7 clean charts, one triad at a time, is I want you to go a little deeper. Now that I showed you how to decode this, I want you to dig in and decode it. But I put home right there in green. That just pops right out. GBD, 1. And create some progressions, which is triads. 1 to the 3, 1 to the 2, 1 to the 3, to the 4, 6, back to the 1. Things like that. That's where your musicality jumps, your musical IQ jumps. Look, this is how you get better at guitar. I'm just showing you some nuts and bolts, wood shedding. I made these charts. Now I've got these burned. I already got triads like the back of my hand, but now I've got a different mindset, a different approach, a different way of thinking. That's how you start to sound like you. I don't think there's anything higher you can achieve on guitar than sounding like you, but this is the kind of stuff you need to do in order for that to happen. Okay, enough here. drop jellyfish or your favorite sea creature in the comments where you're watching from. And tell me, have you ever done this? Be honest, okay? Have you ever thought like this? Have you ever thought like this in a similar way? Build your systems. Do it now. Get it going. Start crushing. You play the guitar. It does not play you. Only you can stop you. You won't stop. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.